Hi, hello friends. I'm back with another video, and for some reason my lighting is so off and I look so gross. It's starting to fix itself now, but sorry for like the orange color slash whatever. Everything looks fine now. So I'm back with another video, and this, if you cannot tell from the title, is going to be my March wrap-up. I read 6 books in the month of March, if you do not count the Pennsylvania State Handbook for Driving. Because if you do count that, then that's 7, but I don't count it, so I read 6. So I'm just going to tell you the books I read, and I have none of them in physical copy with me because they're all at home / were ebooks. So I'll just insert pictures over here, wherever. Without further ado, let's just get on started. So the first book I read in the month of March is Adulthood is a Myth by Sarah Anderson, and it's basically just a bunch of little comics about adulthood and being an adult and everything like that, and I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It definitely was such a funny read and was definitely really accurate to my life. If you guys have ever seen those comics where it's like, I have to do stuff, but I'm just gonna lay in bed anyway, and it's like actually hand drawn, that's probably done from her. I got this as review from NetGalley and I absolutely enjoyed it. It was hilarious and I loved reading it and looking at the pictures, everything like that. The second book I read in the month of March was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Wow, I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. I started off this book with the thought that everybody was comparing it to Harry Potter. So the first couple chapters, all I did was compare it to Harry Potter, and I'm pretty sure that lessened my enjoyment of the first half because of this. But as soon as I started to stop comparing it to Harry Potter, I felt so much better about reading it, and I was so excited to actually finish it, and it was such a great book. I loved how Rainbow Rowell portrayed everything, and I just loved the relationship between Simon and Baz. It was so cute. My heart was so happy. And if you haven't read this book yet, or you're very iffy about it because everybody compares it to Harry Potter, don't be iffy about it. Pick it up and read it. I am like 9 out of 10% sure, 9 out of 10 stars percent sure, I don't even know, that you would love this book. And if you don't, then I'm sorry, but I love it. Third book I read is Madeline's Kiss by Peter Gilboy, and I've had this for a while. It was a book that I had to read for a review for NetGalley, and I finally read it and did my review on it. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. The book is basically about this girl who goes missing / dies, and she has this like affair with this teacher, and everybody thinks that he killed her. And it's definitely interesting. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I wanted to because the ending was a bit confusing and the whole book was like a bit confusing. And once you read the book, you would probably realize why I think it's confusing. I can't really explain why it's confusing, or else it would give away some spoilers. But I don't really recommend it unless you want a fast read, because it was a fast read, even though it did take me a couple of days, but that's just because I was put off by how much I didn't really like it. The fourth book I read is The 17-Day Diet by Dr. Mike Marino, and I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. I already said my thoughts and opinions on this book in my book haul for March. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up here or wherever, or I'll put it in the description down below. I enjoyed the book for the fact that it gave me insights on the diet I was doing, but I didn't enjoy the fact that the author was very, not sexist, but he kind of fat shamed a bit, and that's not something I enjoyed. And he said he was being like blunt because he's like worried for people's health, but there's a difference between being worried for somebody's health and being rude, and he crossed that line and stepped into the rude category. The fifth book I read is 3 by Ted Dekker, and I was so excited to read this book. I got it from the library. I got it from Overdrive as an ebook, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to because this is another book that was actually really confusing, and I can't explain why it's confusing because that would ruin the ending, but the fact that they went about revealing the killer / the person in the main character's life was very anticlimactic, but at the same time was also very confusing and made me really confused as to who the actual person was, and until after I read the book and actually looked it up, I wasn't sure. So the fact that I had to look it up after I finished reading the book was something that just really bothered me, and I was really upset, but I'm hoping the other Ted Dekker books I have at home are a lot better than this one is, because I have very high expectations for Ted Dekker's writing because everybody loves it. The next book, and I have my laptop here because this is a really long book title, so that's why you're seeing a glare. But it's You Lost Me, Why Young Christians Are Leaving Church and Rethinking Faith, and this is by David Kinnaman. I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. I read only 70 or so pages of this book, wrote a whole 5-page paper on it, and still managed to get through the book without having to actually read it and learn that much from it. It was very repetitive and I didn't like it, and a lot of the book was basically the same stuff stated over but stated differently. So I was a bit annoyed with that, and it definitely wasn't my favorite book, but I got a 98% on that essay, so I'm pretty excited about that. I would like to actually finish it sometime, but as of right now I'm not gonna finish it, but I'm counting it as read just because I was able to write a full-on paper about the book without having read the full book, and that's saying something if you can write a whole paper, get a 98 on it, and not have read the whole book. But those are all the books I read in the month of March. I read 6 books. That's better than 2 or 3 or however many books I read last month. I'm finally getting out of my book slump, and I'm finally able to read some more. I was really upset because I was this close to adding a 7th book on to this, but I didn't get to finish my Harry Potter book, so I don't get to count that for March, which is thoroughly upsetting, but that'll be counted in my April wrap-up. If you like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up and hit that red button down below to be notified of any more videos I post in the near future. You should tell me any of the books you read in the month of March, or if you've read any of these books and have any thoughts and opinions of them. Also, I'm going to be starting up a second channel soon. I know I said I had a second channel that's for gaming. I'm gonna redo that and get rid of that, but this is going to be a health, nutrition / fitness type channel where you get to see more of my life in the health and nutrition aspect and everything like that. So I will leave those links in the description box down below when everything is ready and set up. But until next time, bye guys.